Welcome to the Viv lifestyle, where we are making super simple recipes, basically trying not to set any fires and trying to survive quarantine with toddlers. So for today's video, I'm going to take a step away from cooking for a little bit and talk to you about something I'm super interested in and passionate about, which is saving money. Yeah, I love saving money, and my husband jokes that I'm allergic to bank accounts below a certain dollar amount. That's how much I love saving money. It's really important to me that we have the financial stability for us to provide for our family and also do the things that we love doing. So this particular video is going to be about boosting your savings, specifically if you're planning ahead for a vacation. So in this case, it's going to be a Disney vacation because, as you know, I love Disney. So we're going to plan ahead for a Disney vacation. This is going to be a two-part video. The first video is going to be about boosting your savings, which you can apply to any type of scenario where you want to build up your savings. So that could be like renovating part of your place. It could be saving for a different type of vacation or for emergency purposes. But for us, we will be talking about saving for Disney. And the second part of the video is how you can maximize those savings as you are making plans for your Disney vacation. All right, are you ready to get started? Let's go. Okay, so before we get started, this is where I come in with a disclaimer. I am not a financial expert by any means. I am a working mother who is a little stingy with her money, and it's important to me to be able to save and plan ahead for a big purchase like a big Disney vacation. So with anything that involves personal finances, I highly encourage you to do your research and evaluate whether or not this strategy will work for you and your lifestyle. Because the last thing that you want to do is add some additional financial hardship to yourself or to your family. So take the time to do your research, but just know that these are the strategies that I'm going to take for our family and how we're going to save for our Disney vacation. And hopefully it'll be of some help to you. Okay, so let's get started with part one, step one of this saving strategy. So this is where it is going to be really crucial to have a lot of attention to detail, patience, and a lot of advanced planning to execute on any of these steps. Right? So in step one, we're going to start off with a large sizable sum, $15,000, just to make it easy on math and also to sort of fall within the parameters of this particular step here. So $15,000 is our starting point. You can do this same strategy in a much lower price point if you wanted to. I'll detail that in a separate video, and I'll also link it to my blog post so you can see how it breaks down in like $5,000 or $2,000 if you want to start there. But let's start off with this at $15,000. That's a really extravagant Disney vacation, but at least it'll include all of the things that you could possibly think of for your vacation or your large purchase. Okay, so with $15,000, what you're going to do is you're going to do some research in what banks are offering cash bonus promotions in your area. Right now, Citibank has a cash bonus promotion for $400 if you open a savings and checking account through their bank between now and January 1st. Now, you have to not already be a Citibank member. You're not eligible for it if you're already a member there. But if you are, you can probably look at other banks that offer similar promotion. So why $15,000? So in this particular promotion that Citibank is offering, there are multiple tiers that you can work within. With the $15,000, you can deposit that within 30 days of opening your bank account and then receive that $400 cash bonus promotion after 90 days, which is a really great deal, especially considering most annual percentage yields, APYs for the year right now is less than 1%, if that. $400 is significantly more than what you would get even if you stuck it into a high interest APY. So it's something that we're going to try to take advantage of putting our savings into that new bank account. Okay, again, you can do this with varying levels of savings, $2,000, $5,000, they have different tier options. But we're going to start off with the $15,000 so we can talk about how we're boosting, and boosting by quite a bit, your savings for your large purchase. Okay, so remember what I said about reading through the details and all their stipulations. This is that attention to detail that is especially important here. So as you're opening your bank account, know what the rules and regulations are in doing so. So for this, the basic rules are you have to follow the steps to ensure that you can receive that $400 cashback bonus. So one of the first steps is opening a new bank account. And I think it's a savings and checking account in this case. You also have to have $15,000 in deposits between the time you open it to 30 days. So within 30 days, $15,000 has to end up in that bank account. You also have to keep the $15,000 in the bank account for at least 60 days. And then just to play it safe, 90 days is when they will pay you that $400 cash bonus incentive. So I would just plan on keeping your $15,000 in there for 90 days, just to be especially safe. If having $15,000 locked up is not feasible for you, there are other options in terms of like a basic bonus plan that you can do through this incentive. So you can put in a lower dollar amount and possibly receive $200 in cash bonus incentives. So that's something to think about as you're planning ahead. But if you are able to put $15,000 into this bank account and receive the $400 cash bonus promotion, that's $400 that you get to bank away for your large purchase or for your Disney vacation. $400, like that's a big deal. In either scenario, whether you're able to deposit $2,000 or $15,000, you want to make sure that you read through the stipulations very carefully. You don't want to end up incurring some random monthly service fees, which is going to dip below the amount of your savings and completely defeat the purpose of this savings mathing exercise that we're doing here. So read through the stipulations very carefully, make sure you follow the rules, and keep your money parked in there for about 90 days. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to set a calendar reminder for you for 90 days and come back to this because we're going to go on to step 2. Okay, it's been 90 days. You set that timer. Thank God I did. 90 days, you received your $400 cash bonus incentive. That's awesome. And now what do we do? So this is step 2. And again, it involves research and a whole lot of patience, let me tell you. So in this step, you're going to do some research and finding a place that has a high annual percentage yield. Oh, such a hard word to say. High annual percentage yield, so the APY. Right? So you're going to find some place that has a high APY. Most places have APYs of significantly less than 1%. But if you can find a place that has at least 1% APY or even higher, find something higher, let me know in the comments below, then that's going to give you the most value and most boost for your. In this particular scenario, the banking institution that I'm going to use is SmartyPay. SmartyPay sounds pretty cutesy. The website is pretty cutesy, but it is a Sallie Mae company and it's FDIC insured. So that's the other important note to make. You can go with a credit union or an online-only banking institution. They typically have less overhead, and so they can offer a higher APY in some cases. But the important thing to note is that they should be FDIC insured. Again, do your research, find one that works best for you. SmartyPig is one that we've used in the past, like 6-7 years ago when we were planning on moving, and it had worked really well for us, and we're going to use it again in this case. So SmartyPig is a free banking institution or free banking option that you can use. It's more of like a savings plan, like a piggy bank that you can use online. You set up your account, you attach your savings or checking to funnel money into it, and then you can set up reminders or auto deposits to help you achieve your savings goals. So in this case, we're going to set up a savings account just for our Disney vacation. Now look through the SmartyPig website, look at the different APY ranges and tiers that are available. The tier that we're going to be working within requires between a $2,000 to $10,000 deposit or amount to get 1% APY. The higher the deposit or balance, the lower the APY drops on SmartyPig. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, this is detailed in my blog post, so if you want to follow through there, the link will be provided below. So let's move on with Smarty Pig. So Smarty Pig, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take $10,000 from our original $15,000, which by the way, is now $15,400. But we're gonna take $10,000 from there and put it into Smarty Pig. Okay, so we're gonna open up the bank account, drop $10,000 in, and then here's the hard part. Okay, this is where the patience comes in. We're gonna park it there for a year. What? A year? Yeah, we're gonna park it for a year. That's really the best way for you to get that full 1% APY, is taking a full $10,000, putting it in there and leaving it there for a year. And it'll accrue that interest to the end of the year to a total of $100. That doesn't sound like a lot, but $100 can mean a lot to most people. It means a lot to me, and it's something that we can apply towards our Disney vacation. Again, so in this step 2, you're gonna find a high APY banking institution, take $10,000 from the original dollar amount and drop it in there and park it for 1 year to get the full interest for that APY. You can do the same thing with a certificate of deposit. I don't know too much about it, but based on initial research that I did, it does require you to probably park it for 2 to 3 years to achieve the 1% APY. So that's something to think about in terms of long-term planning in your savings. But know that there are multiple options out there. I just happen to be using Smarty Pig. I'm going to provide the link below if you would like to use the same too. The other disclaimer I'll put here is know that any of these banking institutions can change your APY at any point in time. However, take the time to do your research and just be flexible with either moving your money if you need to and understanding what the stipulations are in holding your money at any of these institutions. Okay, so now that our calendar reminder has gone off for the 1 year with our $10,000 in Smarty Pig, what do we do next? Well, after that 1 year, you received $100, okay? So let's do the math from step 1 to step 2. So step 1, we got a cash bonus incentive for $400. Then parking our money for a year in a high APY achieved us another $100. So basically, we boosted our original dollar amount to $500 for savings to put towards our large purchase item. How amazing is that? That's $500 that you didn't have to do a ton of work to get to, and it allows your money to work for you. Okay, so as you're doing your research for this step 2, here are a few things that you should know and keep in mind as you're doing your research. The first thing is that you typically want to start off with a high balance because that interest is based off of the balance that's in your account. That's why we're starting with that $10,000 here. Again, you can use whatever balance amount that works best for you. In this particular scenario, for easy math, we're going to go with $10,000. The second thing to keep in mind is you want to make sure that the APY, high APY, is at least 1% or more. If you find something more, even better. But it should be at least 1% to really get the most value out of that APY. And the third thing, and this is important, and this is where that patience and planning comes into play. The third thing is that you need to park it there for at least a year to really get that APY. Okay, so that's a year that this savings will have to be parked and locked away. Again, this may not work for everybody, but if it works for you, this is a really great way to add an additional $100 to your savings. When you are planning on moving that $10,000 out of your initial deposit in the bank account where you receive the cash bonus incentive, make sure that you read through the stipulations on minimum monthly balance requirements for that bank account. Because you want to make sure that you're not incurring additional monthly service charges just because you took that $10,000 out. So move things around if you have to so you don't get that service amount, but you do want to take $10,000 out, put it into a high APY or more, and then take that $5,400 because we're going to use that in part 2 where we're talking about applying this towards a Disney vacation. So to recap, in this part 1, here's what we did. In step 1, we opened a bank account where they're offering a cash bonus promotion or incentive for you to open the new bank account. Here we earned a plus $400. Then in step 2, we took some of our savings and then moved it into a high APY bank account to allow for it to earn interest over 1 year, possibly to an amount of $100. So that's some easy math right there. In total, that's $400 plus $100, $500 in boosted savings that we're gaining in this exercise. So are you ready to move on to part 2? Because that's where we're going to talk about Disney. If you think these tips are beneficial, please give us a like on the like button on this video, follow and subscribe to the channel, and if you click on the bell icon, you'll receive notifications when we post more videos like this. And look out for part 2, because part 2 is going to talk about going to Disney with our boosted savings. Thanks, and I hope to see you again soon. Okay, so this is, well, no, that's not. If you liked this video, give us a like button. No, not the like button. And that has a high. Still follow